will be a temple, the dwelling place where you are. I'm honored to be chosen and called into your purpose.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. It's your girl Maya Deja.
And it's your girl Shayna.
And we are here to share our testimony regarding moving and how God relocated us. I guess we can start off with prayer.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we get into this video, we just pray that you be with us, remind us of all the details of like your hand in our story. Let us not leave anything out. And I just pray that this video will encourage someone and bless someone. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I'm gonna start off with this book here. And so in May of 2023, basically God specifically said, you and Shayna are meant to be friends and roomies, but you both must seek me more now than ever, fast and pray more now than ever. The enemy is going to try to stop my plans. And so that was May of 2023 is when like he said that basically, which a little before this, actually we already had both desired to move, like relocate.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just don't really remember any specifics, but I know like we would talk about it in 2022, like towards the end of 2022, and then in 2020, because my first lease had ended, I guess, the end of 2023. So like I'm thinking that when this lease is over, that we're gonna move, but it actually wasn't that time. Like it wasn't time yet. So this is actually funny because God had gave me a word for 2024, which was the word chance. And I still don't fully know what he meant by that. But, you know, looking back in 2024, he did give me another chance, because what I'm about to tell y'all, like, y'all gonna see why I said that. Yeah, this was January 2024. He said, the place that you're in now will be a place of growth. And then last year, 2023, was setbacks, but this year is y'all comeback. That's what he said for 2024. And he said this place that I have y'all in now is y'all stepping stone for something greater. Once y'all grow there, then I'll move y'all to a new city, place, land, nation, like kind of like what he told Abraham. Say like we did get tested a lot in a lot of spiritual warfare, that he probably still made sure that we were ready. And even so, that was like my notes from my book.
Yeah, so kind of what she said about us both having the desire to move. Even when we first met each other, like we both had desires to move from our hometown, and both wanted to move to like a city, like somewhere just more city-like, which is not like our hometown at all. So we both already had that in common anyway, but we didn't even know that that was like God ordained. Like God had that in his plans as well for us, like to move there and then together at that. So it was something that we had already had in common when we was talking and just growing in our friendship and stuff. And so yeah, she had already had her apartment, and when we met and stuff, I still was living with my parents and stuff and still doing college and stuff online. So I didn't really think much of it. I just thought that, you know, sometime in my future I'm going to move to the city, or I plan to move to the city and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I didn't really think that God was going to do or orchestrate it so soon. I kind of just thought that it would be like a near future, but like still future like type of thing. Probably like after I get my degree, or after, like after all these things that we have planned for ourselves, so that's kind of how I was viewing it from that point. And, yeah, I was just seeking God about other things, like kind of like my purpose in that time. And I was still new in my walk in Christ, like very new. So I was just kind of still just learning and growing. And so, yeah, that's all I can say about that in the very beginning of that process.
Yeah, so that's that brought back my thought. So basically, if you haven't watched my video before, my recent video, basically I graduate soon. So around this time is when I thought like, oh, like that's when I'm going to move. I'm going to move after I graduate and stuff like that, because it just made more sense. But God obviously didn't do that. That's why we're here today, because we moved way before that. and I was taking classes online, so it just like everything just really worked out like in a puzzle. Like it just fit. Like we didn't have to force it, you know. And so we're basically about to get into all that because it was a lot, but you know, we're here. So yay. I don't want to leave out no details, please. So starting off with June 2024, I was working at a clinic, and basically they was cutting my hours sometimes, and then I ended up getting a job at a Christian summer camp. And so I was making way less, but they said that they would pay me a little bit more than the other staff just to have me on staff. And so I did that, and I wanted it for the experience, and I wanted to be around godly people, and I just wanted a break from like the workplace environment. It was just a lot going on. So being that happened, I couldn't. It's actually crazy looking back, because like I had a job, like legit, and I still wasn't even able to make my rent. And so basically I ended up, I didn't know whether to make my rent. So just giving y'all a little backstory, in May of 2022, I had got an eviction. So that's a backstory. Like, if you know, an eviction stay on your credit for about 7 years, basically. And so I had that impact my credit very severely over the choices I made, and I do take full responsibility. However, like during that time, we wasn't even allowed to do partial payments. Like here now, like, you know, 2022 from 2025, like you could just see the difference in the technology and what we're able to do now. So then we couldn't do that. You couldn't do partial payments. You couldn't move money around freely, quickly, like, you know. And so I ran out of time basically, and I was away from home. I was all the way, and I was just in a whole nother state, just not even thinking about my responsibilities, just being very immature, and I don't know. So I was pretty new to my walk at that time. But essentially, because of this eviction, I end up having to move back home, etc., etc. 6 months go by, and I start applying to this apartment that is near home. And so that's when I got my second apartment. And so that was by the grace of God, and even God confirmed things with that apartment, and he gave me confirmation. But this video is about the one that we're in now, so I don't want to take up that time. But essentially, I had already had an eviction, so I renewed my lease for my second apartment, because me and Shayna, you know, we talked like about like moving, and so we didn't know whether we should move, because I'm like, well, my lease is about to be up, like this is a good time. But then we're looking at the bank account, and it just was like, what, like how are we even gonna move? Plus we were gonna move somewhere different than where we are now anyway. So we were just gonna move not too far from home basically. And so it just didn't work out. God told me to renew my lease, so I stayed there again. But towards like of June of 2024 is when like I could not keep up with the payments, and I was already behind. And so basically my mentor that I had at the time, someone that she knew, like they blessed me with money to be able to pay my rent, but it still wasn't enough. Like I still had like past due balances, and it was just like, you know, but I still took it, and I still paid for what I could at the time. And so basically my lease manager, she gave me an option to break my lease without affecting my credit, or, you know, getting an eviction again, or none of that, or I can just bring a roommate or sublease, like all these different options, so it won't hurt you in the long run basically. And I had a really amazing lease manager. So long story short, I ended up feeling like, okay, it was a tough decision, because I'm used to being on my own, and I'm just like, where am I gonna go? Do I stay at the summer camp? Like it was just a lot to think about, and everything was just happening so fast, and I was just trying to enjoy that last month there. So I submitted my 30-day notice, and basically, yeah, like at July 1st, like I was out of the apartment. And so I moved with my mom for like 2 weeks. And then that's when me and my mom had got into like a bad fight, a bad disagreement, and that was just horrific. And so again, my spiritual mentor, she had at this time, I didn't have nowhere else to go, so she had got her friend to allow me to stay at her friend's house, who was also a Christian. So in the beginning it worked out and everything it seems to be going well. But then after time, you live with someone and eventually there's conflict, there's disagreements, there's stuff that they do that you don't usually do, stuff like that. So that ended up happening. And so I ended up moving from there. And then I went to my cousin's house and I slept on my cousin's couch all the way up until, we moved here. And so I would say from June all the way to June of 2024 all the way until October of 2024. Like, that's how long I was like, I don't like to use the term homeless, but I didn't have my own home. Like, I didn't have nowhere to call home. And so I was just kind of going to house, couch to couch. And my friend Jack at the time, she was a very pivotal point during that time, because I really didn't have, sometimes like I wanted a break and I just wanted to be around godly people and I just wanted to just get away. And so her house was an outlet for me to do that. I was able to go there. And during this time, this is like, me and Jack had known each other for a few months. So while this was a very like point in my life where it was I was at rock bottom, it also was pushing, like, me and Jack was getting closer through that, because it's like I was staying at her house, we would see each other, like, things like that. So eventually August came. So while I was still staying with my mentor's best friend, I took a solo trip. Again, I wanted to get away, and so I did. And so I went to the city that we're in now. And if you look at my vlog, you probably can put two and two together. But of like when I like basically went through that basically. And so I came here to seek God. Like God basically I came here to seek God about what he wanted me to do next. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to keep living with these people. I just wanted my own place, and it was just a lot. And so my friends was just very supportive during that time. They were very helpful in like, you know, just allowing me into their homes and just, you know, spend time with me, just taking my mind off of that and just kind of encouraging me, etc. So when I took a solo trip here, and I told God, like, I was like, well, because I felt led to go into this certain church event, and I was like, well, if God, basically if the pastor preaches repentance, then I know that you want me to move here. And so surely enough, the pastor did preach repentance. He said the word repentance specifically. After that, I just was like, I went back to the hotel room and I just was crying, and I just was crying to God. I was just telling him how tired I was of my hometown. Just like so much happened there. Like even Abraham had to move to a different city, a place of like no one knew him and it was foreign, and even Jesus wasn't welcome in his own hometown. So I just like, that's just kind of like, I'm like, I know this is a God thing. Like this is not something that's not biblical. So yeah, do you want to, you can add anything?
Yeah, I think during that time was a period of like, God was just showing me like, I feel like he was showing me that I was outgrowing my environment as well, even though I was living the good life, quote unquote, because I was living with my parents, so I didn't really have to worry about like, you know, paying bills and certain things. Like I was still living with my parents, but I did feel like because God was trying to, you know, help me to grow in my purpose and calling, which was like, you know, starting a business, and just I kind of just felt like I wasn't in the right environment and scenery to do what he called me to do, and I just feel like I was just outgrowing the space I was in, and the space I was in was too busy, it was too loud, and I know that I just felt like I was trying to build my faith in him and my dependency in him like never before. So I think that's what kind of like led to me even wanting to like get my own place. like even more now, because it was like living with your family. Of course, it's good. Like it's not nothing like you know, it's different for everybody, but you know, you don't have your own space. Like, you know, it's great to have your own space and your own environment to do things freely in the way that you would like to do them and stuff. But you feel like I was kind of like outgrowing the space I was in with my parents. And I feel like that time I had been working a job since January of 2024, and God had literally told, like, he was putting on my heart for me to leave my job, like kind of randomly around the end of July, like literally right before August came. Like he was like telling me like to leave the job, and I was just like, okay. And I didn't have a backup plan after that. I didn't know where else I was going after that, but I remember he was like telling me my job, and I even felt that to leave the job I was working at. So I just ended up put my 2 weeks notice at my job and telling them, hey, like, you know, I'm about to leave. You know, it was no bad blood or anything necessarily, but yeah, I remember just feeling like the urgency to leave. And then, you know, God was, you know, after that, during the month of like August, September, like he was putting more on my heart to focus on my business and focus on the things that he had called me to do, and, you know, regarding like my purpose and stuff. So that's what I had began to do. And then this is like all happening while she's, you know, while they just going through what she was going through and taking a trip to the place. And, you know, so she was telling me about it during that time, and I was just like, okay, like, you know, and I didn't know if it was just for her or it was like us, but she eventually did, you know, she's gonna get into it, but she did eventually tell me about like, hey, like, I feel like God wants us to, but like us to move soon. And I was just like, whoa. And like, I remember she called me one night and I was like, wait, what?
I was like, this is gonna sound so crazy.
Yeah, it was so random, because it was so random. It wasn't like even like a I
was gonna wait, but he told me like right then, and I think I called you that same night. I don't know if I called you that same night or the next night, because I remember he told me like in the wee hours of the morning.
Not the wee hours. Yeah, I feel like you called me around maybe 9 or 10, so maybe it was the next night or something. Yeah. But I just remember getting a phone call from her talking about something. Yeah, like, I feel like God wants us to move. Like, I'm just like, wait, what? But yeah, he did. Like, so at this time where she was saying these things, like, I didn't have a job, I didn't have like anything really going on necessarily where it was like I couldn't move, or, you know, it was anything holding me back. If anything, I was feeling like I just kind of felt trapped. Like, I just felt like I was in an environment where I was trying to grow, but I couldn't because it was too small for me. Like, I had outgrown it already. And you know, I love my parents, I love my family, but I just feel like it wasn't the best environment for me to grow in my faith and dependency on God, because I had my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I was showing me that I rely on them too much, or I rely on them in the way he wants me to rely on him. Right? Did I say that right? I rely on them in a way that I should be relying on him for. And so I think that's kind of another reason why he wanted me to like leave and just get out on my own, is because it's going to produce faith in him alone, and trust in him alone. If I, you know, like that type of dependency on God, like, do I really trust God? And so I think that's what it was for me. But yeah, I guess we could pick up with the phone, like, or what God was telling you that night, or maybe.
Yeah, I just want to add that also while I was going through all of that, he was telling me to leave my job at the same time. So when she was leaving her job, he was telling me to leave my job. Like, it was like not too far along where I'm like, I ended up getting sat down with like one of the head people, and I'm like, oh Lord, like I already know like it's something about my performance, like that's what they say, and they just try to let you down easy. I think in that case they just was like, you either gonna change or blah blah blah. But in my mind, because I had already prayed and I was like, and then this happened, so I never came back. I didn't even put in a 2 weeks notice, and I don't know. Me and 2 weeks notice, we don't get along. Like, I don't really believe in putting a 2 weeks notice. I feel like, yeah, like you should have common, like, yeah, I get it, but it's like at the same time, if God tell me to go, I'm gone. Like, I'm go. Like, cause like, yeah, I don't know. I just.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I put in my 2 weeks notice, but they didn't schedule me anymore after that.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm saying. Like, one time I did put in my 2 weeks notice, at the clinic, and like they just kind of cut my 2 weeks notice short. And so that's what jobs would do. Like once they find your replacement, like you're replaceable. So
and God, honestly, he made me so uneasy working there. Like when it got closer, when it got closer for time, like for me to like leave, it was like kind of putting on like my heart to leave. It was like I just felt I did not like being at work anymore. I just honestly felt uncomfortable. Basically, like I felt uncomfortable working there, and it was like constantly on my mind. And I remember literally going on my break one time, and I just began to like pray. I prayed about it, and I was telling God how I'm feeling. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Because I'm like low key, like what's wrong with the job? But I'm like, okay, this is probably from you, like, because I've been seeking him and everything, but I ended up, was like, okay, I'm about to write out, like, this 2 weeks notice and just go ahead and tell them, you know what I'm saying? Because me personally, I just be like, dang, like, I don't really want to leave, but yeah, I was just like, it literally made me uncomfortable, like, and the thing is, even before that, like, my job before that, he'll make me uncomfortable in the space I'm in when he wants me to leave, and that's how I know it'd be like, okay, this time to leave, because me personally, I be loving the money, I was loving the money, I was loving the hours, like, I was able to get hours and stuff, it's like, but he'll make me uncomfortable there, especially with the people I'm working with, so he did that at my other job, and then he did that at the job I'm talking about. He made me uncomfortable with the people I was working with, like my boss, like one of my boss. So it was just kind of like, that's kind of how I was feeling as well. But yeah, I ended up leaving, and they didn't put me on the shift no more. They didn't put me on the schedule no more. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like I don't care.
I dipped out so quick, and when you leave jobs, it's not really something you get an applause for, if that makes sense. Not everybody understands what God is doing, and sometimes you don't, but you will understand. And I just feel like even at that time, like, I feel like a lot of people, the only person who truly understood was Shayna, because she saw the vision. Like, it was her vision too, if that makes sense.
Right.
But like, everybody else didn't really fully understand. I would say Jack, like, she did understand, because she's a Christian and she understands like what God does. So I would say like she was very understanding too. Mm-hmm. But I still fully don't know the extent of like how she felt at first. I don't know if she felt like we were leaving her and stuff, because we had just like not too long met her that same year and stuff. Yeah. So, but I would say 100% who understood everything I was going through was Shayna, because it was like it was happening to her as well. Yeah. And like you really don't know until you walk it out yourself, like what somebody like is going through, if that makes sense. So I really kept silent. Like we kept silent. Like we didn't really tell people until it got really close. I was honestly afraid to tell. I think I told Jack when I was we was walking in Five Below, and I told her like hypothetically, like I wasn't decided of it, but I was just like, hey, you know, God revealed this, and I don't know, like, and she was just like, yeah, I could see that. Like, it's like, that's why it's so important to have godly friends, because she didn't shoot me down, she didn't shoot us down, she didn't discourage us. She was just like, yeah, like I could see that. Like, she wasn't trying to hold us back just because she's gonna miss us, because she knew like nothing would change if we moved or not. Like, she knew like, you know, fast forward, we still see each other. So yeah. But I will say, okay, August 29th of 2024, God said, I didn't tell you when you are to move, because if I would have told you in January, then you wouldn't have been able to focus on what I call you to do in January. So he was just saying like, you know, like, I don't even know how to word it. And he said, your mind would have been fixated on moving in October. And then he said, and God will humble you. He said, who are y'all to tell me how I should get my glory, or to tell me when y'all should move? I am sovereign. If you would have known, you would have tried to stay at the jobs, and you would have tried to do it in your own understanding. But I told you these things without a job, so that you know that it's only coming from me. There's nothing you can or can't do to ruin my plans for you. Because when I was working at the clinic, this clinic was like travel work, and I could travel. Like, I could literally just had relocated to a clinic here, and I could have just made a lot of money, right? But God didn't allow that. Even her job was transferable. Both of our jobs was transferable, and he told us to quit both of them. Right. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Anyways, he said, I will speak to you and speak to Shayna. but I won't speak to you about Shayna. I will speak to her personally. And he said this because at this point, because Shayna was like, why he ain't telling me nothing? Like, she was like,
right.
She was like, kind of like,
yeah. When at a point she called me and told me I hadn't heard anything about that, so I was just kind of like, So I was like, like, are you talking about yourself or are you talking about us? But
yeah, because I was also like, kind of like in the process, I was kind of confused too. I'm like, is this for me or this for both of us? Like, I really didn't understand it, but in the back of my mind, I didn't want to move alone. Like, that's kind of scary, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I'm like, if it's only for me, then I get it. Like, I understand. But if God told me to tell somebody something, I'm gonna tell them. If they do that as they wish, and He sent confirmation, He can ruin their plans. Like, I had God wreck my plans before, so it's like, you know, I just kind of trusted Him from that point. Well, tried. So he said, you are to move the beginning of October, not September. Because in my head, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, we got to move now, and da-da-da-da. And he was just like, no. And so he said, use this time to prepare. There's nothing else I want you to do in Greenville besides preparing to leave it and focus on your schoolwork. And he said, you will not get that job at Olive Garden. I literally had applied for this job at Olive Garden. He told me to still go to the interview, but I didn't. I was disobedient. I did not go to that interview because I'm like, he said I won't get a job. Like, why would he want me to go? And I was like, but he was like, you supposed to like consider other people, da da da. And then he said it's wrong to start a job when you know you are leaving. Oh, basically he was saying that like it's wrong to go in there and try to get the job when I know I'm not even gonna be there like that long to help them or whatever. And he said your reputation matters because you're representing me. Your job is a commitment that is not bigger than me. And he said this church will help you become the best version that I've called you to be, to steward the gifts I gave you. That's what he said. And then, oh, this is why I didn't go to the Olive Garden interview. So God sometimes he gives you these like kind of like see if you're gonna do it type of thing. Like Abraham and Isaac, like he tried to see. So that's what he did. He wanted to see if I was gonna obey. And because I think I don't even know. It was a while ago. But he said, cancel the Olive Garden interview. I wanted to see if you would obey even when you didn't understand. I saw in your heart that you were going to obey even though you knew you wouldn't get the job. Well done. Now obey before you understand in regards to moving. And he said, just because you're leaving Greenville, just because you're leaving doesn't mean you have to cut everyone off from here. People who truly care about you will still visit you. It's funny because only one person came here. That's how you know if they're from me. You'll know them by their fruit. Don't expect much from your family, but expect much from me, for I will do exceedingly above all you can ask, think, or imagine. Just put your trust in me. And he also said basically that maybe this area needs prayer warriors like me and Shayna. Oh,
where we are now?
And so that was all of that besides the confirmation. So piggybacking from what the phone call, basically I called her, God told me to move, told her. I was kind of nervous of like how she would react or like whatever, because I just didn't really know. I'm like, dang, this must be a lot, because this is her first time like moving in general. So so yeah, this is like surpassing August. Well, yeah. So I don't really know what really happened after that. I think after that we just got right to it. Like we really got right to it.
Yeah, after the phone call, I don't even remember what I said. I was just kind of like, oh, like, okay. And then I just remember feeling like, like I'm going to just kind of seek God about it. Like, you know, like I just kind of felt like, like I wasn't even like to the point where I was like, no, I'm not moving. It was kind of to the point where I'm like, okay, but is this God's will, like for me as well? And then like, you know, like when kind of thing, like when does he want us to move? Like, is this sometime in the future? Because again, from my perspective, in my mind, I'm probably thinking like, okay, he's talking about sometime next year, like cool. But after that, I think I was still doing like focusing on my business work and stuff like that, since I didn't have anything else to do. But yeah, I was still just focused on my business and just getting everything with that regarded. But we was constantly meet up, you know, especially at church and stuff, and just talk about it. And then after that, I think we started to literally go to, we would start meet up at the library and like look at different places, like look at different apartments and just different places in this place that he gave us confirmation, or, you know, the city he told us to move to. So yeah, I think we just started to look into like, okay, like this is the different type of apartments, this is the different type of places, and we looked into like, we were trying to figure out, okay, should we even get like a studio or a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom? Because, you know, we were looking at prices. We was trying to think, okay, like what's in our budget, you know, like because of what she went through with like dealing with rent and stuff like that, and I never experienced that. But obviously we was trying to like limit God through that, you know, because we was like kind of nervous and scared and afraid. We didn't want to lose the place that we got, because we was like, oh, like, let's get the 2-bedroom. But a lot of those were like really like expensive, especially in the place we're moving in. Yes, like rent just get higher and higher.
When I was looking at the studio, it's like I can find myself compromising.
Yeah, like that's like thinking, what it is.
Like thinking now, it's like ain't no way we would have been able to live in a studio. Because like even along this journey, like we had conflict, and it's like we needed that space, like our that rooms. Too. Like it's just like, imagine like you have this open floor plan, and it's like a bed and a TV on the wall. Like it just it's just looking back, it's just like I'm just glad that we didn't go with that. Like we didn't compromise, because like you need your own space. Like like that's the whole point. Yeah, that was the point. Yeah, we was kind of like, dang, like we were willing to compromise just because it was like what we thought we could afford, basically. As well. Yeah, that too. Like we was like, okay, let's just get the first thing we can get. You know what I mean? Like, but which is actually funny, because I don't know the timeline. I'm thinking it was the beginning of September when we went back to the city. Am I skipping to ahead? No. Oh.
Wait. So what time did you bring? You brought me there to the worship night. Was that September?
It had to be in the beginning. It definitely wasn't like your birthday wasn't here yet, so it happened. It had to be in the beginning of September, because we had time to prepare. And like I said, I got this at the end of August. Look,
so originally we had planned a trip to go to Atlanta, remember? Yeah. And then we was like, no, like we're gonna turn into a trip to go to this city instead, so we could like, you know, go there. While we was down there for like the worship night at church, we was gonna go look around the apartments instead, and like actually tour them and look at them and ask some questions, stuff like that, because it was like more beneficial.
There was a lot going on that day.
Oh yeah,
so we gotta get into that.
It was so much warfare.
So basically, after the phone call, like I said, we started to get things running. So we started to apply to jobs. So I ended up applying a job. I had a phone interview. I told them I'm relocating. I was honest. So this is another thing I want to say, like literally, remember this, y'all. When you're applying to a job and you're trying to relocate, they don't want you, because you're not even there yet. So they just feel like you're not even, like, you see what I'm saying? Like jobs, they just want convenience. And so because we weren't there yet, we got denied, or they wouldn't respond. Like, because I'm a CNA. So healthcare is easy to get. And it was just like, I'm like, what? Tough
crowd.
Right. Like, I was like, it was tough. So I did end up getting an interview, right? So we're driving hours away. I'm not going to tell y'all the exact amount. I got time. But we was driving hours away from home. Get there. I'm about to make it. First off, I was late.
Because it just started raining. It started raining, and then the traffic
put us a whole hour behind.
Right. It was like early in the morning too.
Chunk. Yeah, like we left early. And so I'm like, dang, I'm not gonna make it. So I still try to contact them to see if I can make it. Didn't make it. I literally went to the place, still tried, didn't budge. They like, we can reschedule. I'm like, I'm not gonna be here that long. Like, right. So, and all of that, basically, and also I just want to say, like, shout out to Shayna's dad too, because, like, you know, we didn't have to pay for the hotel, because we mentioned, I know people might be like, well, they didn't have a job, like, da. Oh yeah. So yeah, like, we didn't have to pay for the hotel, just the gas to get there, and we went and toured. And so then after the first interview, I had a second interview lined up. Got there, in between, I think on the way to the second interview, I looked that we just kind of like drove past this one place that I was telling Shane about. I was like, yeah, you probably don't want to live here. And she's like, no. And so we just kept driving. And so, because there's already like a lot of like safety issues with this particular place, basically. And so, yeah, there's that. But anyway, so you always got the ghetto bad areas. So I went to the second interview. As soon as I got there, they basically told me that they canceled, like the manager's not there. The manager's not there. So
they scheduled an interview for her, and then when she got there, all of a sudden the manager's not there. Like what? At
this point, spiritual warfare. I'm just like mad at the devil right now. Like I'm literally mad. I'm sobbing. I'm like, no. I'm just like thinking like, dang, like what can get any worse? And it just kept getting worse.
It really did, for real.
So after that, we just got food. Remember that day?
What? I don't remember that part. Well, you probably did though.
After that, we went to Chili's and
oh my god. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Literally, we was in there, we got our food, the food was not good, and then all of a sudden the electricity went out, like the lights went out, everything just shut down for like a good minute. It was like,
y'all, this cannot be our life.
Like for real.
But no, so after that, I don't really quite remember what we did. I think it was a Friday. We did, okay, so boom, we got back. We went on some more tours. That's what we did. Like we went on some more tours. And most of the apartments we
had a schedule. You had a schedule like for the days.
I had a bunch.
Yeah, to tour.
Shannon was like, dang. But
it was fun though.
Yeah, I think some of them we just automatically knew like off the bat. No, like they were really nice, but I just was not about to pay that for that. Like, I remember we walked into, I think the first one actually. We walked into it in the space, like the living room area stuff was just so small. Like remember, like the kitchen, everything was brought up, and it's like even your closet was like not even what your closet is now. Like it was just like small, like the living room small, everything, and they stacked up the washer and dryers. But it was very pretty, like as far as like the amenities. They had like a rooftop pool, I think. Like they had some stuff going on, but I don't really care. I put the place I'm gonna be in 24/7 over the amenities, okay? Because I like amenities, but like yeah. So anyways, it was new, and so we went to a bunch of different ones, and so they weren't really.
We took pictures. We asked a lot of questions. Like we had like a list of questions that we was gonna ask every apartment,
to see like what. Because keep in mind, like I did have my eviction, so I had to ask very hard questions, and so most of my answers were no. So I got told no a lot. Like I got, and not because I wasn't gonna waste my time to spend money on the application, spend almost probably $150 on one application. That's just for me, just for them to say no. So I had to make sure, like, can I use this? Because also, like, we didn't have jobs, so it's like
that too.
I was using like my school money to even be obedient to basically and so I was trying to make sure that I can even use that, and so just stuff like that. It just was like, but overall some of the places we just didn't really like it. Or even the interactions with the person who toured us. Like some of them were very like, if you ever went on an apartment tour, then you know what I'm talking about. Some of them let you free roam, kind of like, those are the ones that will take longer because they let you kind of like just get used to the place, or like kind of like see for yourself. Then some of them, like, they follow you every step of the way, and they quickly wrap it up, and then you're out the door, and it's like
it's like they rushing you, like you don't even really get a chance to really see everything, and just like tour it for real. Like it's like I think they have people either like right after you or something, but it's like, dang, like it's not fair.
Right. And so that was that. So it was just a lot to think about, like even like down to what's the water bill, the like all that stuff. To just
and I had no like past knowledge or expertise about like how those things work, so she was kind of like she would tell me, okay, this wasn't like a good deal versus like this apartment had a better deal with the water, a better deal with the electricity and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, because, you know, prior to that, I was living on my own. Like, you know, I didn't know like that. Of course, with the rent, there's like other bills like on top
like
of
everything
that.
should be included.
Yeah,
in the
you would
rent.
think everything's
like,
included, but no, it's like, no, this is separate from the rent. You got paid on top of that, then your own electricity on it. I'm like, okay, like.
But also, the higher these apartments are, is because they got all this new stuff in here. Like that's essentially what you're paying for every month. Like the new appliances, the dishwasher, the balcony, like everything. But anyways, so that was Friday. So then, this is kind of where things, kind of the spiritual warfare started hit again. And you could just tell your side, because you're the one that had, like, we got to the hotel, like, you kind of, I was in the car.
So this day, we got to the hotel, and it was like, something was wrong with, like, the card. Oh, basically, because it was my dad's paying for it or whatever, through his points and stuff. But they was talking about they needed a card on file and stuff like that. You know, how they take money from you just like it's a deposit, or it's just like a on hold until you leave. Basically, they'll give it back. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that, so I'm just like, dang, like I'm trying to figure out. Like I had to call my parents, make sure, like, hey, like, because we were honestly in a rush because we had to get to the worship night because it was starting soon and we hadn't changed yet. We were still in like our regular outfit.
I was, like, in my interview clothes.
Yeah, she was in her interview clothes. I was just in like comfy clothes. But basically, we were trying to get into the room so we could change. That didn't even happen because we ended up changing the bathroom. Remember, right? Yeah. So yeah, we weren't. We didn't have enough time to get into our rooms and change because time was just going by so fast this day. Like everything was just not working out, basically. Literally. And so even with the card, it's like I had to call my dad, my parents, and ask for like money just to put down for the room, like for however long. You know, and then that literally frustrated me. So I was kind of like just not in the best mood at all. And I was just like hoping that the day would get better. Like I was just kind of excited to see what the church we was visiting, like the worship night, was going to be like, because she had already been there. Like when she took her trip, she had already experienced it. So I was looking forward to that. But the way that everything was looking and going, like it was a long day already, and it was just like, it just put me in an irritable mood, like I'm not gonna lie. So it was probably rubbing off on her and just kind of like just making the whole situation kind of like, dang, like is this gonna get any better? But it was honestly warfare, because I honestly think that God or the devil was trying to like make us just kind of think that this is not God's will because of everything happening.
Looking back in this book of 2023, God literally said the enemy would try to stop my plans.
Literally. And even before this, like we was having like, even before we took the trip there, like we was having conflict and stuff like that. So it was just kind of like, it was always something basically, even leading up to the trip. But during the trip, like during our time there visiting and seeing all the apartments and stuff like that, we kept hearing people say no, or it just always was something basically.
And okay, so went to the worship night. And well, before that, we had Baskin Robbins / Dunkin', which I think that kind of put us in a little bit. Yes.
Wait, how do we have time to stop again? How do we have time to stop to get that? That's hilarious.
I just stopped.
But yeah, that was good.
The doors opened at 6:30, but it started at 7. But yeah,
that was good.
I think that put us in a little bit better mood. But yeah, when we got there, I don't even remember like the worship night. I just remember it was good. I introduced her to someone that I had met the first time and stuff like that. And I introduced, and that she really helped us a lot. Yeah, we got her information, like, and then she was like, let us know, like, let her know if we need anything, like, need help or anything like that. So yeah, we ended up talking to her like eventually later, but we'll get to that. We needed her help. So yeah, I guess we can get to that now. Yeah, like nothing happened. Like that night, we went to the hotel. We our room was ready by then, so we just kind of like packed our bags. We went to sleep. We said yeah. And then the shower was nice though. Oh yeah, it was a nice the hotel was nice. Okay, it was really nice. And then they had so the next morning, I'm pretty sure like they had breakfast that morning. So I don't know if we got that. I think they had breakfast. I don't know if we missed it or not. I know at some point we did get breakfast. Okay, so maybe we Sunday. Did. I don't know. I think anyways, we had more. I know like the next day we had more like places to tour. Yeah, so, and before you get to that, you had an interview. Oh, was it that morning? Yeah, something like that. Okay, didn't even remember.
But yeah, I did have interviews for the place I had just left back in our hometown. Like, remember, God told me to leave that job, so I was like, okay, I have experience here. I could I could apply. I mean, yeah, I could talk to one of these companies here. I was trying to find like someone just kind of somewhere. First of all, we did not have.
It would have been too far.
Right, we did not know where we was going to be living, so it was kind of like there was different companies, different places. So I was just like, I didn't even know which one to apply to. But tell me why I go to this interview right at one of these locations, and I get there, and tell me why online before we I had an interview. So online. Back at home, it said that they were applying for this position for like 16 something like an hour, $16-17 an hour, basically. Like, that's how much I was gonna be getting. So I'm like, apply for that. And then, cause that's was like, we was like, that's the minimum amount we need to be making in order to like really live here. And so I get here, I get to the interview that day, and then I talked to them. You know, they come out, they're really nice. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, it was clean in there. It just already looked good. I'm like, okay, like, this is gonna be nice. Like, I could see myself working here. But I sit down with the manager, and she's talking about something. Yeah, like, that's not actually, this is actually the role, and it's gonna be like $2 or $3 less than what you thought like you was gonna get. I'm like, huh? And she was like, yeah, this is like, that was for like a social media manager or some type of other thing, but we already got those positions filled. And I'm just like, oh, because I applied for it because it seemed like y'all didn't have a position filled because like the application was online. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why did that job seem like it was, the position was open or something? And she just made it clear that like, no, like, she didn't have that position open and everything. I was just like, yeah, I was just telling her everything about like how I'm trying to relocate here. So I don't have a place yet, but I did want to work here because I do have previous work experience. But it was basically like, by the time the interview was over, it was out of like my budget. Like, it was basically like what they was going to be paying me was like $1 more than what I was already getting back at home. It was just like not it. Like, I walked out of there and I just told her, I was like, yeah, no. And I told her everything, and it just kind of made me feel like even more like
discouraged. Yeah,
like, what are we gonna do? Because we keep hearing no.
We just kept like, what are we gonna do?
No from places, no from jobs. It was just like a
lot,
a back-to-back like discouraging trip. And
very discouraging.
Yeah, like the only thing enjoyable was like that we were in a new city and like the worship night and then like the food. But like, but no, for real, like it was just fun to tour the new places.
With you moving from like country to city, like it's more.
Yes. So it was fun.
That, like,
so we were trying to find jobs that would like definitely coincide with what we knew we was gonna be paying for, like not just the rent, but everything else on top of the rent. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So
then we started to tour more places, but also before, I think you kind of bypassed it, but basically, I don't know when. Like, I don't know exactly when, but at some point, it's not funny. It's funny looking now, but it wasn't funny then. Basically, you parked in the wrong spot that night, like that Friday night. Like, we parked in the wrong spot or something, and you had a fine, or you had like to pay. You had to pay something. Yeah, cause so that's why I was like, yeah, we did need that lady help because we met her that worship night, and we ended up being her help because I was talking about like there was a parking garage, but it wasn't clear that was for the hotel, because you know, like with cities and stuff, like there could be a parking garage and it could be like for multiple different things. Like it can be for the grocery store that's next to it, and it can be for the hotel that's next to it. But like we didn't know what it was, and like we didn't know what it was specifically for, because the hotel was talking about valet parking, and we was like, we didn't want valet, because we thinking like, okay, we thinking like valet is just to pay them to park our car for us. We can park our own car, like, you feel me? Mm-hmm. But they were saying like that was a cheaper alternative for the hotel parking in general. So we ended up paying more. We ended up getting the parking ticket, but we ended up paying more just because we didn't accept the valet, and we ended up accepting valet later because we realized like, okay, this was a cheaper alternative, but we didn't know that. So because like honestly, I feel like the hotel wasn't clear about that, because remember we was talking to the guy outside, and he was just kind of like,
Like, he just didn't go into detail, basically. And we're not from city, so we're not really sure. But we talked to a lady that we met from the worship night, and she talked about how parking is usually around $10, $15. Like, it's even overnight, it's not that much for real. So we were just kind of like confused with that whole thing. But she ended up helping us with the parking fee or something. Like, she ended up like paying that for us and
then
stuff
someone
like that.
else had offered to park at their friend's apartment, but when we got there, apparently there was a game going on at the same time, so the visitor parking was gone.
Literally, it was always something. Like, we was always just,
we used it the next day though.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, we did. But yeah, that happened as well, y'all. Like, we literally got a parking fine, and we literally was both out of a job and everything. So it was
we didn't have that much money that we brought there. Like, literally, no.
So yeah, it was like limited time because the hotel was only booked for the Friday through Sunday. Yeah,
and we just was trying to fit everything
into that little weekend we had. So that's why it just felt like it was a rush, like limited time, limited money, like resources, basically.
And we was driving. Like, every time you go somewhere, it was like 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
We was not used to that because where we're from, it's like, it's quick, like, you know. But yeah, it was like a lot more traffic and just congested, a lot more time consuming.
And I just felt like I was wasting my time with some people because they just seemed like they didn't even want to tour you. Yeah. Like, or we went to this one place where half of the apartment was done, half of it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, we did. Because one time we went to this apartment, this tour, and there was like a black man there, and
like the feminine guy.
Yeah. And because he took us to this place to tour, and I think he was already like, I don't like this place or something. I don't know. He was kind of funny because I don't know. Like, I just feel like the environment he made it just kind of weird.
We went to the one we really did like, which we can get into that.
Yeah, so we had a place we really liked. Like, I mean, really like.
Even the person that toured us, she was like
so sweet and genuine. Like, she was like one of those people that you wanted to tour.
Our bathrooms were like very equally sized.
Yes, like everything. I love the kitchen.
Was smaller though.
Yeah, we love the kitchen. Love the kitchen.
It had white cabinets.
It just looked so nice, and it was new. Like, it was newly, like that where we toured, like that part of the apartment building area was like new, so we would be the first to move in. Everything.
Yeah, I like how the island was. It was in the middle, right?
Yeah, it was in the middle. Like, so it was disconnected.
The one we got now is still in the middle, but it's connected to a wall basically.
Right, but that one just had like an island in the middle. It was not connected to anything, and it just looked very nice, spacious. Besides the living room, but like the way they set it up was so weird. But because it's like, where are you gonna put your couch, and then where are you gonna put your TV?
That's what I kept wondering. I'm like, where am I gonna put my couch?
But yeah, and then she showed us different options. Like, she showed us a handicap version of that.
And that one, we wasted money. Well, we did get some money back, but like, we still wasted money because you don't never get all of it back. Like, they only refund you. They don't refund you the application fee. They only refund you, like, I think the admin fee or something. Yeah. Or something like that. So,
but we really love that place. So yeah, I was praying hard on that.
Yeah, I was really hoping, basically praying, hoping that it would come to pass. So like, yeah, fast forward, we went back to Greenville. Like, that Sunday, like, we stayed there pretty late, and we just took pictures and stuff like that. But fast forward, we went back to Greenville. We're like, okay, we just was praying. I don't really know, like, in detail what we did. I don't think we applied immediately. Like, I think we did. Like, I think some days did go by or something. Yeah. But when we finally applied, this is when we got like it's okay to get no when money is not involved, but once money involved and you tell me no, it's tough. So because of my eviction, y'all, from 2022, we got denied. Like, within, I think, 15 minutes of the application, they called and they like, hey, yeah, no, basically. And
yeah, because I think that day we applied together at the library, and then we left. And then you got the call, and then you called me.
And then I thought I heard God's voice before that telling me, don't apply there, right?
Oh, did you? Yeah, I think you said something like that.
But I thought it was the devil.
Yeah, so we like... Yeah, I think you asked me, how do I feel? And I was just like...
discerning God's voice it's very hard sometimes.
Because you don't know if it's like God telling you, like, don't apply there, like he's telling you not to do something, or it's like the devil trying to tell you so you don't.
Yeah, because we was already having so much backlash. And
right.
It was just a lot. But the way he said it, I was like God said it in a very like kind of like if Jesus was coming back type of thing. Like, you're not gonna say Jesus coming back, you're gonna say Jesus coming back, repent. Like, so he said it in that kind of tone, like, because we was literally about to go apply to it. But I thought it was the devil, because I'm like, God doesn't usually talk to me like that. Like, he don't really use that tone. But it was him. And like, looking back, it was him, because I got denied immediately.
Right.
Like, they didn't even think about it. They didn't even try to figure something. No, like, immediately gone, denied. And also, all in the process, again, we're trying to find places that can accept my school money. We're trying to find places. Like, it was just hard. It was really, really hard. It was a lot. And so once we got denied, I'm like, dang. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really gave up, like, a little bit. Like, I gave up a little bit. I'm like, man. So at this point, I did tell Jack, my sister. I didn't tell my mom. And so I didn't tell, like, too many people. So after we got denied and stuff, we just didn't understand what to do. We were just like, okay, we're gonna pray, we're gonna fast. Like, we just really didn't know what to do at this point. So I started to, like, look at other options, like townhomes, trying to find private landlords. And so that got us into another situation. So I'll let
Oh my gosh. So during this time, we were just like, maybe, you know, we could look into getting like a townhouse or a private property, basically because of like the eviction notice and everything. Like, maybe that was like the huge pivotal point in like us not getting approved. So I had Facebook, she didn't, but I think we both was like looking up like different private properties and stuff within the city, and just trying to find the best place that we could move into, and like just, you know, still a good amount of like room and space for us to do, to have and do what God called us to do and stuff. But and still like nice, because some of the, like most of the places that we looked at were like renovated, like properties and stuff. So we looked at them and we would just share amongst each other, like, okay, like, this is a nice one, what do you think about this one, what do you think about that one? And some of them we would call and ask them questions, ask them the same questions we would ask like the people that we went on tour with, like at the apartments and stuff, ask them questions about like certain things. And yeah, so I'm sorry.
It's funny.
It just don't feel like this is real life. Like,
right.
It just don't feel like real life.
I'm saying, test. You thought Shiloh was over there or something?
Oh no, I'm just trying not. I was laughing, looking away from the camera. But yeah,
We
so
really got scammed, bro. I wish I had the message. I don't know if I still got the messages, because I got a new phone. Because I would literally show them the screenshot. Maybe I could just add it in the editing.
I don't know. I just blocked that man. I blocked that man. But we was on Facebook and we.
Oh my god, bro! Y'all have to understand. We did not live very close to where we was moving, so we drove all the way there. I'm like, God, if this is your will, let us go tomorrow. We're gonna get up tomorrow. We're gonna go.
Yeah, we found a property, like a man. We found on Facebook and a property that we liked.
Y'all might be thinking like, well, why would God tell y'all to go there? Da, 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 da. But I honestly do feel like it. Like, I feel like he taught us something in that. Like,
what?
I don't know if it was his. I feel like it was his will for us to still go
To see their property.
Yeah. Like, not to like to show us like you're trying to do it, or like to teach us something.
Oh yeah,
because it's like we was trying to settle in a sense, even though it was like a house, but it's like it's not buying a house, you was renting a house. And I think it was gonna be more costly, because if something breaks in a house, like, you don't got no maintenance guy and stuff like that. And the tub was we didn't like the tub as well, but I was gonna make it work.
There was pictures of basically the property. We was gonna go back to the city to drive that far back to the city to tour, but this is all on Facebook, so it's just pictures, and it's not the man in the pictures. It's just pictures of the place.
The reviews.
And we
this man
at the
only
reviews.
had one picture in his profile picture. And the reviews were saying like how,
because this was supposed to be his business page, so I kind of figured like, okay, maybe that makes sense. Like, he wouldn't put too many pictures of himself up there. Like, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to make sense of like what's
going on.
Right.
It's frustrating because we really fell for that. And even when we told Jack, it's like,
cause no, like you said something about you had a dream of us sitting in a house and God was around us.
It was like
and
a lot of lights.
Yeah, and then you said something. It was something about like you had gave to something. I think you had gave to that girl. Like you felt led to sow to her. Remember? It was something you felt led to sow to her, and then after that he responded to us, or somebody responded to us after that. Like it was something where we was kind of like we thought we was getting confirmation about like going there, because it wasn't until after she like did something she felt like the Lord led her to do. All right. He had the man we went to go toward the property. He had responded. So tell me why. So one day we get up. We was like, okay, we're gonna go back here. And I know our parents was probably. Well, I know my parents probably like, what they got going on?
What's going on?
Right. But
be safe.
We got up that morning to drive all the way there toward this place, and
my mom did warn me about scams. Mm-hmm. She said, make sure don't give him your information.
I ain't tell nobody.
And my dumb self. Because
you gotta realize we were so desperate, so we were willing to do anything. Like we kind of just like, okay, let's do it. Even though like we was kind of like, okay, this is not like we were trying to make it make sense, right?
Like some of it wasn't adding up.
I'm saying
like his messages. Because at one point
he said,
you remember at one point I remember it was a weekend. At one point he was not responding, and then all of a sudden Tuesday hit, I think, and then he started responding.
Mm-hmm. So
that was like a red flag, because it's like, why are you
not responding?
Then he responded so late. It was like 8 o'clock.
Late. Right, yeah.
So I was like, why didn't I see these red flags? Because who's going to be texting you back and forth at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, because usually they do that confined with like business
9 to
hours.
5, right.
Yeah, so we was kind of like, no, think about it like,
it's stupid. We was fools. It's okay. We learned a big lesson out of that. So we drove all the way there. We got there.
We
y'all have to understand that we literally only drove. We literally only drove to see this place. We weren't planning on staying. We weren't planning on doing anything. Now, we did have the girl contact number, and she did say that she would pay for our hotel that night if we wanted to stay. But I just didn't want to burden nobody. I didn't want to keep asking for help. I was like, we could just go back home. Shayna talking about sleeping in the car. We'll get to that. You try to find it. It's in your old phone?
I think I deleted it.
Maybe you look up his name.
What was his name? Oh, there you go. Wait, what happened? Oh, here it is.
This is actually embarrassing.
Alright, so y'all, we pull up to the place. Wait, no, this is the group chat. I need to just me and him.
You have one with just you and him? I made sure it stayed in the group chat.
Wait, maybe it's not. This is right. So we talked to him like, hey, so she made a group chat for all of us to talk to. So we texted him the night before, talking about hey, we're gonna go there, be there to tour by 10 a.m.
This was one of the other red flags. He moved it from Messenger on Facebook to text message.
So unprofessional.
Right, because why did you need my number? You could have got my email.
But I was not paying that red flag, I'm not gonna lie. So we all agreed the day before we left, we was gonna meet up at his place at 10 a.m. to do the tour.
At 10 a.m.
He said,
we're literally there.
He told us.
He said, perfect, sounds good. And I said, hello. At 9:58, I said, hello, we've arrived to the address. And he said, good morning. I'm so sorry for the inconveniences I may cause you. I was supposed to drive down for my tours today, but there's a lot of things holding me up here, mostly health issues. As I'm diagnosed with periodic paralysis on the lower part of my body, and I need medical attention today. Please, it's going to be a self-guided tour, and I will walk you through getting remote access into the house if you don't mind. Okay, we're gonna pause right there. First of all, I don't know if this man could actually do a self-guided tour. I really don't know. I really don't know at this point. I think he was just trying to throw us off, because at this point he already, my dumb self.
No, I don't think he could.
Because at this point he sent us this link. He asked me to put in my information. My mom told me not to, and I did it anyway. I put in my information, and I just realized what I just did. And we could not find the key. Remember, we kept trying to find the key, how to get in. We looking crazy in front of this house. One, it was in a very ghetto neighborhood. Like, we already like, what is this? Like, and then he gonna sit there and talk about a health diagnosis.
This dude said diagnosed with periodic paralysis on the lower part of his body, and he'll need medical attention.
We looked that up, and that's not even a thing.
I said, how is a person like this supposed to drive to the city? One, and then two, how is a person like this supposed to tour people, like go on tours with people through a house if you have periodic paralysis on the lower part of your body?
So we're looking at each other like, this gotta be a joke.
Yeah.
In our heads, we're like, well, we can still tour.
I don't know why we said that. Because so, I was like, we drove all the way to just for this man. I ended up
giving away my information to this scammer. So it was too late in a sense of like my information was given. So I was quick. I acted very quick. And then I just started calling all the credit bureaus, and I just started freezing my credit. I froze my credit. I froze everything. I deleted. I changed my passwords. I did everything I possibly could so I do not mess up my credit even more.
He gave us a link, told us to follow everything.
That's when we couldn't get in the house, that's when I kind of started to put two and two together. Like I said, I started freezing everything, and I looked up this house. I looked at the address, and a different company had popped up, and I'm like, So I'm like, let me call this number. So I called this number. I picked up, and I said, is this address blah blah blah? Is this your property? And they said, yes, ma'am, this is our property. And I'm like, well, this man told me to come here scamming people, da 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 da. And they said, like, go to the police, report it, and et cetera, et cetera. So we were sitting in front of the house for quite a while, to the point where this other person had came up. See, like, you don't know if, I don't know. Like, that's why I'm like, maybe God just,
because they was trying to tour the place too.
Yeah, like he was scamming other people other than us.
Right.
So they came up
like an hour apart, basically.
And we was gonna leave because I didn't want to just sit in front of the house, because I think that they thought that we were the people that was gonna tour them. Mm-hmm. And so then I felt like God told me go back and tell her, because she didn't have no idea. And I had already gave my, like, in a worldly person sense, they're like, bro, like, forget them. I'm gonna let them fall into the trap too, type of thing. Yeah. But I'm a godly person, so I'm like, no, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna tell her, like, hey. And so I was like, hey, like, are you here for a tour? She was like, yeah. Are you the one tour? I'm like, no. And I'm like, but I want to tell you, like, this is a scam. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this is a scam. I said, do not give any of your information. I did that. I made a big mistake. This is a scam. And she was just like basically like, thank you so much for telling me, da da da. And so from that point on, we went to the property that was originally from, because I don't know what I was doing. Yeah. I don't know what we was doing at this point.
Yeah, and we did. How do we find that?
I looked it up.
Okay.
And I was going to report it to the police, but I don't think I ever really got around to doing that. And I was going to report on Facebook, and I don't know. I just didn't never get around to doing all that. But I did at least warn her, so, and I froze my credit and everything. And mind you, I'm trying to move. I'm trying to get an apartment and stuff. So freezing my credit, that was like a very like, it was like, how am I going to unfreeze? Like, you have to unfreeze your credit to apply to stuff. So long story short, I would say God's grace, because I kept checking my credit, like, after that happened, after we went back and stuff. I kept checking my credit. I kept, like, making sure, like, nothing changed and nobody was in there. Like, I set up high security. Yeah. And I would say by the grace of God, thankfully, not nothing, God forbid, I don't know. I don't think nobody can do anything in your name. If, like, I think it will come up on your credit for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm just thankful that even through that, God's grace was on me, and that like he shielded me from being a victim of identity theft and just fraud and like that person just doing that to me and stuff, because Shayna didn't give her information away.
Yeah, because he said he only need one of our information. He said he only need one of us,
which was also kind of weird.
All right, like he was like to do the guided tour. He was just talking about just to do the tour. He only need one of our information. So I was just like,
he just wanted us to be quick, because like if you would have had to say, oh, I need two, it's like somebody would have been like, well, I didn't bring my ID. He was trying to go ahead and be quick. But I would say I caught on pretty quickly. Like, I feel like I could have caught on sooner, but I did catch on, like, before he did start to do stuff to my credit.
But clearly we weren't the only ones.
But also my credit was already poor, so I don't understand. But anyways.
Yeah, so it must have been other people, like definitely other people he was scamming through Facebook and stuff.
Probably trying to find a person that really got good credit for real.
Right. I'm glad we warned that girl. Yeah, the lady who scheduled, I guess she was scheduled like an hour after.
Yeah, because she had a nice car too.
Right. But yeah, that was such a like a surreal, like just felt unreal moment, like for real. It was just laughable. It was laughable because it was just like, ain't no way this just happened for real.
Like at this point we're like laughing because I'm not about to cry about it. Like I just was like whatever. So we went on some more tours. We got more no's. And
yeah, we was like, while we down here, we finna go on more tours.
But then it was just starting to get dark and stuff, and so we just wanted to, I don't know, like I said, we didn't stay. Shayna I didn't know she was being serious or what, but I told her I'm not sleeping in no car.
I was being serious.
Not in this area. Not in that area.
No, because I was like, we could park, like, remember that place you really liked? She said it was free parking, so I was like, okay, what if we park there and just sleep in the car? Because they ain't have parking spots, they ain't have parking passes, like, it was none of that. You could just go to the neighborhood, you could park your car anywhere, it wouldn't be a problem. So I was like, like, what if we did that? But I know we was wasting, like, money, time, gas, everything, so it was just kind of like, why not stay here? But we ended up leaving, and then that's going to get into, like, God did send us a person that could actually help us, even though we wasn't even, like, down there to find a place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if anything else happened before that.
I will say a little bit before that, we both had got through the person that helped us from the church. She knew someone that was able to get us a job offer at Chick-fil-A, so we ended up having the job offers and all that lined up and stuff for Chick-fil-A. And I'm not gonna get into that job, but we'll leave that for another day, another testimony. But so at this point I was discouraged and I wanted to give up because I had an eviction, I got scammed, I didn't see another way, but I just kept persisting to call around, kept asking, kept seeking, kept knocking. And then God sent someone to help us, the second person to help us, and she just was a pivotal point too. And she even tried to help me get with some of the places I think she looked up, but I think I had to have a certain amount, like right then and there, and I just didn't have that amount. Like I really didn't have much. Yeah. And so basically let's just say we just kept calling around, lots of no's and stuff. So eventually we got to the place that we are now, and basically we didn't have to put down a deposit on the spot. We could break it up, and then the rent was due the day we moved in, stuff like that, and we just didn't have, it was just lesser on the spot because that's what we were looking for. Like we knew like eventually like we would come up with whatever else, but we just needed something like for the moment. Yeah. So mind you, we was gone, like we was back in our hometown, so we couldn't tour this place. And so the second lady that helped us, she came and she toured the apartment for us, because she asked us like, if you need anything, ask me, and I'm like, hey, because we didn't know no one here. I'm like, hey, like, do you mind touring this place for us? And she was like, sure, like I'm not too far from it, and she came, she FaceTimed us, and it was just amazing. Even she said she liked it and stuff like that. Yeah. And so she was definitely like I said, a pivotal point in that. Like, God will definitely send the right people to help you at the time. And I would definitely say, like, I would for sure say that she was seasonal. Like I think her purpose in our life was just for that. Like, not gonna lie. And it's not even like it wasn't even like, oh, like, we used her. No, like, God used her. That's how to look at it. Once that purpose that you're in someone's life for is up. Like, you can't really control that. Like, whatever that was. Of course, like, she didn't like get out of our lives like that. Like, as soon as we moved, like, she still checked on us. She still encouraged us. She still was pretty much she was talking to us still from October all the way to the end of the year, basically. Yeah. And so it wasn't like that, but it was just like her season, her time was up, and that's okay. Yeah. So pretty much, I don't remember anything else that happened after that. I just know that we applied. I was telling my sister, I was like, I'm really nervous. I was even telling Shane, I'm like, I'm really nervous because we already went through a lot. Right. And I was like, man, if this is not it, like, this either has to be it or it's just not for us. And so we applied and we got approved.
She trying to call me talking about something. Yeah, we didn't get approved.
Oh yeah, I was joking with her.
I was like, huh? Like, I was kind of like, she must be joking, because I feel like she would have sounded way more like devastated or like disappointed over the phone. But I was kind of like, like, and she's like, psych, we got approved. And I was like, oh my gosh,
so happy because I had a whole eviction, right? And I'm just like, ain't no way. And that's just the God we serve. Like, God is faithful. He's just. Who cares about your credit, your eviction history, your past? You are not your past. And God's grace can cover everything. Like, he can literally hide that thing. But the apartment I'm moving at now, they were well aware. It did not bother them at all, like the way it bothered all the other places. And this is not a scam. This is not a private on nothing. I just would say, like, just the way that God did it. And I even prayed for, like, we even prayed down to, like, we wanted a good leasing manager, and like, she's so amazing. She's so sweet. So we can go to her office right now, and like, she's just welcoming. She never had an attitude at us. Never. Like, we don't have to deal with none of that stuff. Now, we did have, like I said, we can give y'all maybe another testimony, maybe. Where we at now? So yeah, basically we're moving. And so
yeah, y'all,
even the job that we did have was pretty gracious with, we had to push our start date, sorry. Yeah. And I think we moved the next day after we got approved, right?
I think it was the next day or the day after, because I know we needed a day to rest or something. Oh yeah. So I think we did the day after or something.
Yeah. So we left. And we got the U-Haul, and I put my car back on. I towed my own car, y'all.
Yeah, so she drove the U-Haul. I drove my own car, but she put her car on the back of the U-Haul.
Yeah, because we had to move our vehicles.
So yeah, we were our only help, y'all.
Literally, like, God literally helped us.
Nobody else.
Like, it was just us, and we was, there was times. Man, I can't talk about it. I don't know. There was times where we was on the way to this place, had to stop to get gas or good. I could not turn the U-Haul. Like, I was struggling. Yeah,
it seemed like she was stuck at the gas station.
Please help me. Like, we literally had to get help, and because we left at the wee hours of the morning.
You in the wee hours,
and I just didn't want nothing to happen to my car or me or us or nothing. So we ended up getting here. I think we got here about 9 a.m. or something, like right when they opened. Yeah. And it took them a while to get us the keys, but I know why. But anyway, it took them a little while. Like, yeah. So I dropped the U-Haul off. We got the keys, and we just fell in love. Like, we just fell in love with the place, and we had to move everything up by ourselves. I think it took us 2 days to do that.
When we first got our keys, though, we looked at the place, like, see if there was any like scars or any type of like damage done basically and stuff. But then we also like began to pray over the place too.
Oh yeah, we anointed the place, prayed, and just dedicated it to God. Yeah, and
then we had to move our stuff up by ourselves.
The hardest part. I really don't know how we did that. Like, I know God, but it's just like looking back, it's like, how do we even have that strength?
Literally after like doing everything we just did.
we're on the top floor, and we just had to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The bed, her, because it's not like, oh, I carry my bed by myself. She carried, no, like we had to help each other.
Yeah,
it was hard. We had to take breaks.
That U-Haul was full. It was full.
We had so much stuff, and we had to take breaks on each flight, and I'm like out of breath. It just was a lot. It was just a lot, and we did try to ask for help, but nobody came.
Yeah,
like some of the people that we did meet.
It wasn't working out. Like with them helping us and stuff. When we, like from the times we came to visit versus like us actually moving here now, it's like nobody could help us, which is like great. It's convenient, but I think did he help us? Yeah, that maintenance guy.
Yeah, the maintenance guy. He helped us with our couch. So that was because
we didn't know what to do about that.
That was harder than the bed.
Yeah,
because it's like you had to turn it and.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, like he said he used to be something, like he used to work or something.
He used to help people move furniture.
Yeah, so I was like, okay.
Like even when I ordered like stuff here, he helped me bring that up.
Yeah, he's very sweet. So it was like the people that we met that were working here, like especially at least the manager, and then like the maintenance people, like specifically him, was very sweet and nice and just like, you know, welcoming, especially for us who like just two girls who had a lot of stuff. Like they were just really nice and genuine about it, like helping us and get settled in and everything. And yeah, that's what we needed as well. Like we didn't like. They could have been sketchy, they could have been rude, but they weren't. And I was just thankful for that because we didn't need anything else on top of everything we had just went through, like, bruh. So, yeah, that was really, yeah, I don't know how we did. I don't know how we did that either, but God must have gave us tips and string or something. I don't know.
Right. So basically the confirmations was one, the Forge movie. I don't know if y'all seen the Forge movie, but they said something specifically in there, and that was confirmation. And then the church, like I said, the pastor, my now pastor, said something about repentance. The person that helped us the first time, she prayed over me, and she was just saying how I have a heavy call in my life. And then I kept seeing U-Haul trucks like a lot. Like when I was in my hometown, every day I probably saw 2 U-Haul trucks a day. Like I saw so many U-Haul trucks. I think I don't know if I still got pictures, but I would take pictures every time. But I did get a new phone, and some of my stuff didn't back up. Yeah. But I lost my job, and even when I took my solo trip, I didn't mention this, but I did get some backlash from family, or my oldest brother specifically. I got backlash of like just him saying stuff like bad stuff. And then like I said, God sent me here to visit. There was a prophecy that I had watched on YouTube. I did see some videos of like, you know, you're about to move, you won't miss it, stuff like that. I didn't have community in Greenville. I didn't have community where my hometown, so there was like basically like there was nothing that would tie me there. Like there was nothing to, yeah. So that was like all my confirmations, and there's probably more confirmations, but yeah, that's all I could think of right now. And so now it's just, you know, we've been here since, like I said, we've been here since October, and we just want to share our testimony to encourage y'all to be obedient no matter what it looks like. Like,
and we faith without works is dead. Like
literally, like you have to take that step of faith, and like he'll show you the way. Like if I would have just gave up after I got scammed and not applied no more, like that was the enemy's plan to like, she not going to unfreeze her credit again. Like no, I still persisted. I still obeyed. I still knew this is what God had for us. And so, because
it's like even Bible, like, you know, the weapons will form, but they won't prosper. Like weapons were forming, like constantly throughout that process of us moving. Like everything was trying, like it was just the warfare the enemy was trying to give us, to give up, to doubt, to fear, to just not walk in faith, basically. And then like walking in faith in general, it's like we could have just sat idle, like okay, like it's like moving to a new city, like wherever God's call you, put it on your heart, it's not going to fall in your lap. You know what I'm saying? You have to take the action to look up new places, ask about it, go there, maybe visit, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, according to the word of God, like if God instructs you to go about it a certain way, do that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like we had to take the actions to, okay, like let's take a trip there. And while we're there, we're going to look at different apartments. And while we're there, we're going to ask around.
I'm such a planner at heart.
Yeah, she planned most of it. Because me, I'm just like, I don't know how we do. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like, I'm not, I wasn't really used to like apartment touring or like how that really goes and stuff like that. But, she is a planner in general anyway. So like we looked at places together in the library, but she kind of planned them like when we was going to tour them and everything like that. So that was very helpful because it was like the day of, we already knew what we was going to do when we got there.
And then, we forgot to mention, like even when we had to, y'all gotta think about it, we were two girls. Like one of my cousins did come help us put some stuff on U-Haul. So and my sister, so we had did the best we could, basically. Yeah. Like it was a lot. Like to put everything in U-Haul and then y'all about to leave like pretty much the next day or something. Yeah. And then
that part.
My mom, she opposed me towing my car on U-Haul. Like it's just like the enemy was really trying it in every way he could. Like she really, really didn't like that. Yeah. And I just ignored her. Cause I just ignored her. Cause I think like towards the second, basically I told y'all I was living with my cousin, right? So towards like close to like I know I'm about to move, I wanted to spend more time with my family. I wanted to forgive my mom. I wanted to just move forward and just spend time with them, soak in that time. Even with Jack, because me and Jack had went to Georgia, and God wanted us to spend time together before I do move. So it's like crazy because as I was but staying there, it's like I kind of overstayed, if that makes sense. And my mom was just kind of wondering like what's going on, or like just kind of like yeah. And then I eventually told them. Ooh.
Yeah, I eventually told my parents as well, and they was kind of like, whoa. Like, I remember that was like the scariest part, was like telling my family. And I just told my, intermediate family. I didn't tell her, like all my cousins, aunts, uncles, none. I told my intermediate family. My nephew, my brother, I told them first, and then I told my parents next. And then they were just kind of like confused. But then we went back to that discussion about it later, and then they were just kind of like, okay, like if you feel like this is what you're being led to do or go, we support you, wish you the best type of thing. And it was kind of like, because I feel like for them it just came out the blue, because I already talked about like I had my own plans, basically. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I had my own plans to move at a certain time in my life, basically. But since God had orchestrated for us to move in the way he wanted it to, so he would get the glory, it was like, it just seemed so abrupt to them. But I knew that this was like, I still need to walk by faith and still do it now and be obedient, basically. So I ended up still going through with it, even though like they were kind of like nervous and just kind of felt like left out in the dark. But
even Jack was like, I cannot believe y'all moving.
Yeah, like it
just happens.
It happened so fast, honestly. Yeah. It was so surreal, but we was ready. Like we were ready.
It wasn't like it happened so fast in the sense like it was rushed.
No.
But it was like it happened so fast. It's like we just didn't see it coming. Like God really shocked us, surprised us in every aspect. Because like I said, we already had desired this since probably the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. So that's like quite some time. And that whole year 2024, like I said, we lost our jobs. Like things weren't looking out. I couldn't even barely pay rent. Like it was just a lot. And I'm like, ain't no way we moving. Like, but God had other plans. And yeah, the whole point of this story is to glorify God. And I just pray that somebody is encouraged, especially someone that might have an eviction, or you might never like been out on your own before, or whatever God's calling you to do. Just be obedient. Don't care what people have to say, because looking like when I took that move, even my little sister was like, wow, Deja, like my sister and my mom, like they were proud of me. Like essentially, like once they saw the bigger picture, they didn't see it at that moment. Mm-hmm. But when they saw it, because it just didn't make sense in that moment. Like, why is she moving? She don't got money, like, you know, like stuff like that. But it's like when you're in God, He just does things counter cultural. Like, it's not, oh, I'm gonna stack my bread then move. Like, no, God is like, I'm your provider. You're gonna move when I tell you to move.
Yeah, but He did tell us, like, He told you and you shared with me, like, He told us to prepare for the move. Like, so we did that. Like, as soon as we got approved,
like, drag us out.
Right. As soon as we got approved, we were ready because we had already was like, okay, we had already kind of booked the U-Haul truck, or after that we booked the U-Haul truck for like the next few days or something. Like, we were just kind of on top of it basically. And ready to put our stuff. Like, we was already packing, like, even before we got approved. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just was kind of already like,
she was packing up. I didn't really have much to pack because everything was already in the storage unit.
Oh yeah, that's true. Even with that, yeah. So yeah, that is the moral of the story. Just be obedient and walk by faith, and yeah, He will work it out. Like, you know, He tells us like He tells us enough, and then He'll just make the whole thing work. Like, you don't have to figure everything out in that moment or whatever. But
yeah, so we hope y'all stuck around this far. But yeah, any other words, thoughts?
Nope.
Yeah,
love y'all.
God bless.